More than 2,500 years ago, in the quiet plains of northern India, a prince stood at the window of his palace and looked out into the night. His name was Siddhartha, who later became Gautama Buddha. Inside the palace were music, luxury, fine clothes, delicious food, and every comfort imaginable. Outside the palace were sickness, aging, loss, and death. The young prince had everything the world could offer, yet his heart was not free. That is where our reflection begins. Freedom begins where attachment ends. At first glance, attachment does not look like a problem. It looks like love, success, security, identity. We attach to people we care about. We attach to our possessions, our achievements, our reputation. We attach to our beliefs and even to our pain. Attachment whispers to us, "This is mine. I cannot lose it. Without this, I am nothing." But hidden inside attachment is fear, the fear of losing, changing, or being separated. And wherever fear exists, freedom cannot fully bloom. The life of the Buddha is a powerful story of releasing attachment step by step. When Siddhartha left the palace, it was not because he hated his family or rejected the world. It was because he saw that clinging to comfort could not protect anyone from suffering. His departure was an act of deep compassion. Imagine the courage it took to walk away from wealth, status, and certainty into the unknown. That first step into the forest was the beginning of true freedom. There is a beautiful story about how attachment binds us. Once, a group of villagers caught monkeys by placing fruit inside a narrow jar. The monkey would reach in, grab the fruit, and make a fist. But because the jar's neck was narrow, the monkey could not pull out its clenched hand. Even though it was not tied, it was trapped by its own unwillingness to let go. The villagers would then easily capture it. The monkey could have been free at any moment, simply by opening its hand. In the same way, we often suffer not because life imprisons us, but because we refuse to release what we are holding. Siddhartha practiced severe austerities for many years. At that time, he was attached even to the idea of becoming enlightened. He believed that extreme self-denial would bring awakening. He fasted until his body was weak and fragile. But one day he realized that this too was attachment to an identity of being a holy ascetic. When a young girl offered him milk rice, he accepted it. That simple act symbolized letting go of pride and rigid views. He discovered the middle path, not clinging to pleasure, not clinging to pain. Freedom emerged when attachment to extremes ended. Later, as he meditated beneath the sacred Bodhi tree, another form of attachment appeared, fear. It is said that Mara tried to disturb him with visions of desire, fear, and doubt. These were not just external demons. They represented the attachments within the human mind, the craving for pleasure, the fear of loss, the attachment to self-image. Instead of fighting them, Siddhartha observed them calmly. He neither chased nor rejected them. In that stillness, attachment dissolved and awakening arose. Freedom does not mean abandoning love. This is a common misunderstanding. Freedom means loving without clinging. Imagine holding a butterfly gently in your open palm. If you close your fist tightly, you may harm it. If you keep your palm open, it may rest there peacefully, or it may fly away. True love allows space. Attachment tries to control. When we attach to people, we say, You must behave in a certain way so that I feel secure. When we love freely, we say, may you be happy, even if life takes you in a direction different from mine. There is another story from the Buddha's life that reflects this teaching. One day, a grieving mother came to him carrying her lifeless child. She begged him to bring the child back to life. Instead of dismissing her pain, the Buddha gently told her to bring a handful of mustard, seeds from a household that had never experienced death. She went from door to door, asking each family. Every house had a story of loss: a father, a sister, a grandparent. Slowly she realized that death is universal. Her attachment transformed into understanding. In accepting impermanence, she found peace. Her freedom began not when her child returned, but when her clinging softened into wisdom. In our modern lives, attachment appears in many forms. We attach to success and fear failure. We attach to social media approval and fear criticism. We attach to our routines and resist change. We attach to being right and struggle to admit mistakes. Each attachment creates tension. Notice how your body feels when you are afraid of losing something. The shoulders tighten, the heart beats faster, the mind becomes restless. That is not freedom. The Buddha taught that everything in this world is impermanent. Relationships change, bodies age, seasons shift, thoughts come and go. When we resist this truth, suffering grows. But when we align with impermanence, life becomes lighter. It is like floating in a river instead of fighting against the current. The river still moves, but we are no longer exhausted. Letting go does not happen in one dramatic moment. It happens breath by breath. When anger arises and we choose not to hold on to it, that is freedom. When jealousy appears and we observe it without feeding it, that is freedom. When we forgive someone, not because they deserve it, but because we deserve peace, that is freedom. There is a powerful teaching in which the Buddha said that holding on to anger is like picking up a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Attachment to resentment chains us to the past. Releasing it does not change what happened, but it changes our relationship to it. The chain breaks and the heart feels lighter. Consider also attachment to identity. We say, I am this kind of person. I cannot change. We cling to labels: successful, unsuccessful, spiritual, unworthy. But these identities are temporary stories. The Buddha encouraged self-awareness, not self-attachment. When we observe our thoughts without identifying with them, we realize we are not the storm. We are the sky in which the storm appears and disappears. Freedom begins where attachment ends, but how do we practice this in daily life? Start small. When you drink tea, simply drink tea. If the cup slips and breaks, notice the impulse to become upset. Take a breath. The cup was always fragile. When someone criticizes you, observe the sting without immediately reacting. Ask yourself, what am I protecting? An image? An ego? Each moment of awareness loosens the grip of attachment. One of the most inspiring aspects of the Buddha's life is that after enlightenment, he owned almost nothing. He carried a robe and a bowl. Yet kings sought his advice, and thousands followed his teachings. His joy did not depend on possessions. His confidence did not depend on praise. His peace did not depend on circumstances. That is true freedom. Imagine waking up in the morning without fear of losing status, without anxiety about comparison, without resentment from yesterday. Imagine loving deeply but without trying to control. Imagine working sincerely but not tying your entire worth to results. This is not a distant dream. It is the natural state of a mind that has released clinging. As you reflect on your own life, gently ask yourself, what am I holding too tightly? Is it a relationship, an expectation, a past hurt, a future plan? What would happen if just for a moment you loosened your grip? You may discover that what you feared losing was already changing, and what remains is a deeper sense of calm. The path of letting go is not cold or detached. It is warm and compassionate. When we are not attached to our own cravings, we have more space to care for others. When we are not obsessed with protecting our ego, we listen more deeply. When we are not clinging to outcomes, we act with sincerity rather than desperation. Freedom is not found in escaping the world. It is found in engaging with the world without chains. The lotus grows in muddy water, yet remains unstained. In the same way, we can live in a busy, imperfect world while keeping our hearts open and unattached. Today, you do not need to renounce your home or possessions to taste this freedom. Simply practice releasing one small attachment at a time. Release the need to win every argument. Release the need for constant approval. Release the replaying of old regrets. Each release creates space. In that space, peace arises naturally. The journey of Gautama Buddha shows us that freedom is not given by the world. It is discovered within. When attachment ends, fear fades. When fear fades, love expands. When love expands, freedom blossoms. May you have the courage to open your hand like the monkey who finally releases the fruit. May you sit beneath your own Bodhi tree and gently observe the attachments that bind you. And may you discover, step by step, that the freedom you seek has always been waiting on the other side of letting go. Namo Buddhaya.